I'm not a Trump supporter because I don't like his ideals. He has been very offensive to me as well as my family members due to my Hispanic heritage. I think for young voters right now, proactivity might be on the lower side because a lot of how they're voting was forced upon by other people. Because at a young age, they're very easily persuaded into something, as opposed to having their own opinions.
I think at first I was leaning towards Trump because I just kind of despise Hillary Clinton and her past actions and what she represents. And that's not even referring emails. She's has a history of just jumping back and forth on issues and just being whatever she has to be in order to get votes at that time. She's completely dishonest and just the absolute epitome of just a gross politician. But at the same time, when it came down to like the last 2 weeks before voting, I realized that I'm not necessarily voting for that person. I'm voting for the people that are going to surround themselves with in that cabinet to make a difference. And we've already seen that Donald Trump has just absolutely surrounded himself with nothing we need at this point. The person he's put in charge of the Environmental Protection Agency, in quotes, his job, in quotes, is to dispel the myth of global warming. We have a man in charge who doesn't believe in global warming. That's absolutely bananas. I don't understand how that can be real life. Steve Bannon is a white supremacist with a white supremacist alt-right radio station, and he is in the cabinet. I don't understand what's going on. Like, this doesn't seem real. In terms of favoring one or the other, I hated both of them. I didn't necessarily feel the burn, but I liked who he was as a man, and I think that's a big problem in our nation today is we don't look towards our leaders for their character. And if we had simple principles, if we shouldn't allow a person like that to be in charge of us, I don't think we'd be in this position because if we're just looking at moral fiber, Donald Trump shouldn't be anywhere near that podium, anywhere near that position. I think Kasich was a much stronger candidate than him, but once again, Donald fed into the fears of the American people at a really tumultuous time in the world, and he absolutely preyed upon the advantages he had with the media, which was just giving him free advertising.
Millennial support for characters like Bernie Sanders, who was actually able to invigorate the youth, the millennial vote, to come out and actually watch him speak. Like, during the primaries, Bernie Sanders had the millennial vote intact with him because he was able to stay on topic, talk about the issues, and stay away from the nonsense. He actually cared, and he had the track record to prove it. And with all that, he was like, the millennials came out to support him. This year was the year in which millennials were the biggest demographic voters than anybody else, because around, I want to say, 20 million new voters were eligible to vote. They were millennials. And Clinton dropped the ball, big time. She thought she had it in the bag just because she had Bernie supporting her. Something tells me that had he not, it would have been way worse than it would have been, because Donald Trump actually was able to maintain a large millennial support too. It's because this idea, this establishment, this anti-establishment mentality. I am not a Trump supporter. I never was, and I'm still not. I voted for Bernie in the primaries, willfully.
I think the mindset's it's gonna stay hard for a while, but then people are finally gonna realize that there's nothing they can do at this moment in time. It's just how it is.
He is our president. He was elected through the democratic process, and we're stuck with him for another 4 years. That is the fact, that Trump is in fact our president. This hashtag not my president is just banter at this point because Clinton lost. This won't fizzle out, but it definitely, people will start coming to their senses of, okay, Trump is our president, how do we deal with it now?
Well, he is our president, and we have to wish him the best because we're all on the ship together, and we have to hope he's going to do a good job. You have to be optimistic. If you're going to be pessimistic, at least approach it from a sensible point of view. I mean, if you're going to be one of those people that demands a recount or demands that he's not my president or says I'm going to move to a different country, you're not helping anything. If anything, you're helping what you hate. Because if you're just going to flee, that's not standing up to the American standard. That's not defending your country through your action and display of American rights.
Yeah, yeah, I was a Trump supporter. I think he's a real deal. I think it's what this country needs. Well, I think those right. I think the rights has dug a hole for them. I mean, they give the new millennials, I guess what they call them these days, that a bad name, bad deal. Uh, when I was growing up, I had to work for it. A lot of my friends I had, my parents, and I just think that this new generation is just soft. That's all. I mean, it's not their fault. It's their parents. I knew Trump was for me because he just told it like it was. He kind of said what the common hardworking man wanted, or what he wanted to hear. I don't know. I'm just so fed up. I'm so fed up with the way things are now. That I just think that the media takes what he says and they have their own agenda and they just run with it and they're against him. It makes sense. There is the establishment. Certain certain networks are backed by certain parties. CNN's Democratic, Fox is Republican, GOP. I'm for live free or die kind of stuff. If you ask me, I chose the best candidate that was best for this country. That's all.